This video is dedicated to all of you who can't get out for whatever reason. So you are coming with me. Yeah, thanks for coming along. Nice one. We're out in the mountains, right on the ravine. I don't want to go falling down there. As you can see, it's proper Rambo-esque. All right, it's rapids down there. There's sheer drops everywhere, and I found an absolute awesome spot. So I'm going to take you with me right now and show you the great outdoors. Ooh, buddy. Yeah, I've got to watch my footing. Seriously, I do not want to go down there. Anyway, I'm glad you decided to join me today. It's been a while. Damn, we're doing some serious mountain stuff today. Oh yeah, happy as Larry. Yeah, well done for coming along. Just you and me today. So what do you reckon? It's a lovely little spot here, nice and flat. I'll tell you one thing, it makes an absolute difference to find somewhere level on a big drop like this. And we're way out, there's no one around, just you and me. Okay, so like I say to all my students when I teach survival, first thing, shelter. So yeah, let's bang on and get that done, shall we? Can you give us a hand? That'd be cool. Thanks, man. Right, you know what time it is? It's basher time. Yes, sir. With bungees, let's do this. Oh, that'll do. At last. Ooh, tell you what, it's a bit nippy today. How are your hands? I bet they're okay, aren't they? Woo! Right. Shall we do something to eat? I think that's not a bad idea. It's around lunchtime now. In fact, it's almost 12 o'clock midday and my tummy is rumbling. Yeah, I thought today we'd bring our lovely friend, Mr. Trangia, out of us today. An old faithful, and yeah, let's get this started, shall we? So, like you probably know already, that's the windshield. All right. So all we're going to do, we're going to open up the stand inside, like so, and yeah, we're almost there. Yep, absolutely love these. Awesome kit if you can find them these days. There comes our little lid, which I'm going to be using in a sec. Let's just put that there. My fork and spoon. That's some Swedish military issue, okay? KFS. Today we're going with some noodles. And of course, our special friend, Mr. Bacon Grill. You could probably tell on there, I date all of my preps, okay? And if I'm fancying another little snack as well, that's another one. Again, all of the dates on there are all written down, because the last thing I'm going to do is to forget something and it's way out of date and then it's too late. Okay, so yeah, always rotate your preps. Good little tip. Right, so here's our special friend. I just need my knife for this part. A long time ago, what I've done is I'll put a nice little edge on there so you can cut with it as well, but not like so sharp that it just skins you alive. All right, but sharp enough to be a useful tool. So here we go. I really do feel for you guys outside of areas where you can get this stuff. It's wicked, absolutely love it. Good old Bacon Grill, and always come prepared. I've got a can opener, because how many of you guys out there have pulled something like this and it's just broken off? Always have a plan B, okay? So there we go, our lovely little Bacon Grill. We're going to get stuck into that right now. Look at that, absolutely awesome. So I just open her up a little bit, just makes it easier. Got our little friend here, And I usually sort of go around it a bit, all right? Just makes it easier to get it out. Basically, if you don't know, it's just bacon in a tin, which will last way past the use before date. So here you go, we're going to prise the lump of goodness out of there. Here we go. All done. Doesn't she look delightful? Of course she does. Good thing about these little trangia things, they're good little workstations, right? So I'm just going to use that, because the last thing I want to do obviously is put this on the floor and cut with all the rubbish and twigs and everywhere. So we're just using this, all right? So there we go. I'll cut it up that way, and again I'm going to probably go this way actually. So they're going to look like little bacon chips. It's a great way to do it. As I say, old school tricks. There we go. They're all chopped up and they're ready. Here's our noodles. Now what I like to do myself is I'd rather eat with a spoon than a fork. Alright. So I'm opening them up there. If I can dig her out. Your little soup mix is popping down there. And some oil. Now all that's inside there is just our noodles, right? So I'm going to put them inside here and I'm going to smash them up. Smash them all up into little bits and you'll see why later, alright? There we go. All done. So in there you can see noodles already bashed up. It just makes it so much easier to eat with a spoon rather than using a fork and splashing around sauce and all that sort of stuff all over the place. I just find it's more convenient and it's a lot quicker and easier to cook too. Top tip for today. So that's done, that's ready. Next up we've got our special friend, the Survivor 58 by Pure Hydration. Really hard to get hold of these days, so kudos to you lads who have already got them. Fair play. Just for today, this is filled up with nice clean safe drinking water, so I don't need to pass it through the filter. So all I'm going to do now, there's the filter. All right, so we put them down nice and clean, and we just got our clean safe drinking water in there already. All right, loads of water in there, all good in the hood. That's closed up safe so it doesn't get knocked over. The oil makes it taste a bit better, so that can go in there. Our soup mix. I think there's chicken and garlic in there. Another little tip, always make sure you tidy up on the go. You know, don't leave things like this because it could get blown around and people don't know they've been here. As you all probably know now, we adopt a leave no trace policy here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that that's all good underneath, nice and clean. Put them on the top. That completes stage one. So I hope you're hungry. I know I am. Do you want something to eat? Come on in. Right, what I tend to do is, if you're using methylated spirits, an old trick is keep them on your person, okay, so they're nice and warm now. And the reason being, you start using these when it's cold, and it is cold, all right, it's proper cold today. And look at that, got myself a good score. All of that, which is 500 millilitres, so it's half a litre, £2.99 from a local hardware store, all right. The amount that's in there will probably do this particular meal, I would say about 10 times, all right. So good value. If you're lucky enough to find methylated spirits for cheap, absolutely go for it, and they last indefinitely. Okay, so we're going to be using this. Let's just put that down there for a sec. Now, let's open this up. Woo, buddy! If you can smell that. So here's our little Trangia military burner. Okay, you know it's a military issue because of the stamp on the bottom there. So, also another little tip if you didn't already know, in there you'll see an O-ring. Right, you must take that out. All right, put that to one side. Don't worry about it, because when the time comes to put this little fire out, you just put this on the top, stars of oxygen, no more fire. You start throwing these on top of that with that rubber O-seal in there, guess what's going to happen? Exactly. So we put that down there, move that over there, and put some fuel in. Well, I think I've already got some in here, so we haven't got to go too mad. All right, so we just set that down in there and just let it just go down and soak up around the wicking area, which is a wall inside the upright here. You see the little holes on the top? So it's looking good. I think we're pretty much already full. So that would be more than enough. Only needed a wee dram, as we say, all right? So, like I said, this sort of stuff goes a long way if you know how to use it. Right, so here we go, just about to spark her up, okay? Use any old bit of stick, doesn't matter if it's wet, okay? So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get the meths on there, got our little lighter, like that, put it in there. All done. It's that simple. The windshield's gonna go on now, all right? So we're all ready. So we're almost ready for it to go. So let's just get cracking, shall we? Right, there we go. We're just going to sit that on top. Nice and simple. Right, so while that's warming up now, I took the liberty of getting some oil out here, okay? Because I don't want all this sticking to there, because it probably will. So as we do in redundancies, I've got just what I need. A plastic bag. Inside another plastic bag. Inside another plastic bag, inside another plastic bag. And you might think, why are you doing that? Well, let me tell you, a long time ago I made the mistake of not doing something like this, and it went everywhere. So lessons learned. Okay, so there's our oil. It's already started coming out of here, so exactly, you know, I'm glad I put it in those extra bags. And all we're going to do now is we're going to literally just pour that in there. All right. Yes, it's messy, but trust me, you don't want all that sticking in there. You really don't. Some of you viewers from my really old early videos will remember these gloves I've got. So they're fireproof, right? So it's no problem. I can handle all of this because it is going to get hot, all right? And I've got my spoon from my KFS. And yes, sir, we're literally just going to fry that up in there, okay? Now, I don't care if these get bashed up or chopped up, it's absolutely fine. Food is fuel at the end of the day, all right? So we're just going to let that heat up and start sizzling and bubbling and doing its awesomeness. Then we'll be ready to rock and roll. So the noodles are underneath there. So obviously you see how this works now, all right? It's a great little cooking system. Been tried and tested for donkey's years now, all right? So you're not wasting any energy. So you've got all of the fuel in that stove in the bottom. It's going to boil the noodles. The heat from that's going to come up and heat this pan. We're going to fry with that. Once it's all done, all of this lot gets dumped into the main pot, stirred around. Robert's your dad's brother. Happy days. Right, here we go. The show is on. The noodles are done. I've taken those off. It was taking far too long to do it the traditional way. So the beauty of these is you can put it straight down on there like that. Hence, always have a glove. You don't want to be trying to do this without a glove or anything covering your hand at least, okay? I'm starting to smell it. How are you? Can you smell it too? Oh, happy days. The smell of bacon grill. Out in the woods. Yes, sir. Absolutely, it doesn't help to chop these up actually and make it a lot easier and quicker to cook that way. Now I want you to pray for me. I don't want any of this falling out onto the floor. That would be sacrilege, right? Oh yeah, it's lovely and hot. Perfect for frying on. Great. Let's push that down there. And I like these spoons. They seem tailor-made for this. Look, they just sit on there just right. Happy days. Look at that. You've got to be patient if you want the best. It's nice and crunchy and really well cooked. I think we're almost there. Check out this, look. All that oil there. Whoa. Absolutely working like a charm. Fantastic stove, really is. It's been such a long time since I've done this. Every now and again you've got to give it a bit of a scrape so it doesn't burn, but yeah, it's absolutely fine. I think what I might do is tip a tiny bit of this oil out of here, just to give me an extra 2 weeks longer to live, okay? Imagine the arteries sucking all that up. Yeah, happy days. If you can just smell this, I am not joking. It takes me back, it really takes me back to those little round gold tins in the mess tin. On cooking on Hexie, out in the harbour area, back in the late 1980s, with my trusty GPMG by my side. You just can't lose. Right, off you go. You sit down there and be a good little boy. Thank you. Now our noodles are going to go back on there. Just going to heat those up. And very carefully now decant some of this oil onto the floor. Really carefully. There we go. So there's our beautiful stuff. We're going to chuck it all in the mix. Going to give me something to clean later on. Not too bad no. So chicken, garlic and bacon grill, all bossed up in the Trangia mess kit. Let that heat right up. Right, oh look at that. I think we're good. Yeah, absolutely piping hot. And all mixed up together nicely. So what I'm going to do, a couple of tomato sauce, or you guys across the pond, I believe you call it ketchup. I don't know why you call it ketchup, because it's tomato and it's the sauce, but there you go. Anything to add even more flavour can only be a good thing. Happy days. Like I done on the off-grid series video, put in the bail handle like this, enables you to just lift it off without it going all over the place. All right. Our knife obviously has to be done. And just lift it off. Put that out of the way to cool down. Put the knife away, nice and safe. And like I said about the O-ring, the O-seal, okay? That's it. All you got to do is just leave it now. No oxygen in there. That will cool down in about 5 minutes. Leaving us time to enjoy our food. There we go, all done. Like I said in the off-grid video, that is how you do it, okay? Otherwise, this will just fall over, but it stays like that, enabling you, freehand, to just enjoy. Oh, Lord have mercy, that's so good. You're hungry now, aren't you? All right then, go on in, help yourself. Oh, that's so good. Right. Story time. Why not? By the way, I'm glad that you're all sticking with me this part of the video. It's really cool because once in a while I just want to get out, forget about all of the rubbish that's going on, you know, whatever, wherever, okay? And it's a win-win. You know, I get a chance to reset and relax, soak up the vibes of the woodland, away from all of the idiots, as I like to call it. And to learn some skills. Okay, the more that you do practice doing these sort of things, you always learn something, little tips, little techniques, little hints to pass on and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it's a win-win for me, and I'm glad that you're coming along too. It's really, really cool. So today I thought I'd do something different. I've not really done this before. So story time, how about that? Excuse me. Bacon grills, having a repeat. So, I was thinking earlier, you know, when I was setting all this up in between filming and that, and I thought, you know what? The memories, I had really, really cold hands. Like my fingers were just white. It took me about 20 minutes to get them warmed up, and it brought back memories of when I was on exercise. And so, cast your mind back, right? 1990 November, okay. We was on a company escape and evasion exercise over the entire weekend on the Isle of Wight, okay? The temperatures and weather for that weekend was between -6 and -8 degrees Celsius. And yeah, it was good fun. Yeah, I'm going to tell you the story because when I was reminiscing earlier, I was giggling to myself. I thought, you know what, why not share it with you, okay? Just in case you want a bit of a laugh. So yeah, 1990, November, really cold. We arrived at this remote rural farm location on the island, okay? So we went over on a ferry, full ton of vehicles, Land Rovers, all that sort of thing. So we got dropped off at this farmyard on this big farm. And so they basically said, right, you got 24 hours to just disappear. And all we had on was combat high boots, the old issue green socks, lightweight trousers, I think it was. No, it was lightweight trousers. It wasn't combat DPMs. It was lightweight thin trousers. Okay. Then we had I had a t-shirt, KF shirt. Who remembers KF shirts? The itchy ones. Yeah, we had one of those, and a wool jumper, woolly pulley. And if my memory serves me correct, I had the green wool watch cap, a hat. That was it. Nothing else. So they basically just said, right, you got to be back here within 24 hours, 8 o'clock in the morning, on, I think it was the Sunday. Okay, so yeah, that was it. Basically just evade. And we had a hunter force, as you always do on escape and evasion courses and exercises. And luckily for us, we had the 2nd Battalion of the Parachute Regiment, I know, following and chasing us, hunting us down. So we all got split up into teams of, I think it was 3 or 4. I think it's 4-man bricks, so we was off in 4s. And off we went, and I think we had about like half an hour head start, and that was it. So we basically just legged it as fast as we could. I was with 2 sergeants and the corporal, me being a private at the time. And yeah, one of the sergeants, he was in the French Foreign Legion, and the other sergeant, Steve, he was, oh lordy, I can't remember what it was. I think he was Green Jackets, I can't really remember. And the corporal, I can't remember. So anyway, we're legging it, all right, away from this farmyard. We're all in teams of 4, go, that was it. So we just legged it, and we went further and further and further away, crossing fields, through woodlands, over fences, all of that sort of thing. And I was getting knackered. Oh, seriously, we was just running and sprinting, and it was all like inclines and all that sort of thing. And I can't remember how long we was into it. I think I was probably about 6 to 7 hours into the exercise, and we just running all the time, and I was so knackered. I started lagging behind the other 2. The corporal, he was gone. No one knew where he went. He just turned off and went on his own. So there's 3 of us at that point, me and the 2 sergeants, right? So we're a Green Jacket sergeant and a French Foreign Legion sergeant, right? And I was trying to keep up with them, and it was tough, right? I was 6 foot, 9.5 stone, streak of piss, right? So I started lagging behind the other 2. They just kept plodding along, and I started getting further and further behind. Anyway, we started to hear that noise. You know the Land Rover tyre noise? Yeah. It was like that whirring noise. Any of you guys who have served would know exactly what I'm talking about. So we went to ground straight away. We got to the edge of his field, and there was hedgerow. So we ducked for cover and lay down low, and this noise was getting closer and closer and closer. All of a sudden, it screeched to a halt, and all of these lads, the paras, come out, and they seen us. We thought we got away with it. We hid out of the way. No. So the other 2 sergeants, they upped and they legged it. I got up and legged it too, and it was really like heart pounding, right? So anyway, we skirted the edge of this field. We come to this great big gate. Them 2 just flew over it, and I tripped before I got to this gate. I think there was some roots or something on the floor, so I tripped over. I got up, and in that time, you know, there was about 6 or 7 of these lads, right, out of this Land Rover. Big lads running towards me, and I just made it to this gate of this farm gate, and I got over the top, and as I was just about to throw myself off the other side, they grabbed me. Oh no, that was it, game over for me already. They grabbed me, dragged me to the floor, and they put a hood on me, and I think it was a sandbag on the head, cable ties around the back, and they just basically frog marched me up this field and into the back of the Land Rover. So that was fun, but the thing was, before I went into the Land Rover, they made sure they give me a really gorgeous kick in the bollocks. Oh my days. And I'll tell you what, if any of you do, guys, on the same sort of thing, you get captured, don't open your legs, keep your legs together, all right? There's a tip, right? So yeah, oh my days, I literally just, I couldn't breathe for about a minute. It was a nightmare. And they literally just threw me in the back, and they sort of bundled in behind me, and the other 2 lads got in front, and off we went in the Land Rover. And yeah, it was starting to get dark at that point, right? And we went to this place. I'm not entirely sure where it was. I got a feeling it might have been where we started. I really can't remember. But because I had the hood on me and all the rest of it, so we was bumping along all over the place in the back of the Land Rover. And we come to a stop. And the tailgate opened and got out the back, and they literally just threw me out the back. And it's a nightmare, you know, because you can't see and your hands behind your back. And I landed on my shoulder, and I bit my lip when I hit the floor, so there's blood everywhere. That wasn't very nice. So they picked me up, and yeah, they just literally just pushing me, you know, shouting at me and all this sort of thing. And we went for a little walk. It's only about 20 seconds or so. I remember hearing a few gates opening, And then they put me in a privy, an outdoor toilet, all right? So I smelled it straight away. And they slammed the door, and I heard them it all getting locked and bolted and all that sort of thing. So I sort of feeling my way around, and I sort of sat down on the toilet to have a bit of a rest, try and get myself together. And I don't know, I was probably in there for a good half an hour. It felt like a lifetime stuck in there. It's freezing, all right? So I can hear footsteps. They come to the door. All the bolts and all of the padlock and chain got all undone. And they just literally, same again, just grabbed me, manhandled me, and just frog marched me and walked me into this building. All right, so I got into this building, and I remember walking down this corridor. It sounded like a corridor. It's echoey. No one around by the sound of it. It's really quiet. And then into this room, and then they carefully sat me down on this chair, and there was a table there. They took the hood off me, and it was stereotypical. It bright lights on me. I was like, oh, because I haven't been seeing for ages, for a long time. And it was Sergeant Pally, and a lovely guy. He taught me how to shoot along with Sergeant Webb years ago. So, but of course, you know, it was serious. It wasn't like, all right, Les and all this. It was, okay, this is the real deal. So it basically, it was the interrogation, right? And I've not been trained for this. So thinking on my feet, having a cover story, all that sort of stuff, come to the fore. So basically they said to me, right, you need to tell us everything you know about where everyone is and how many there are. So, and I said, nope, name, rank and number, that was it. So he kept to the script, right? So being a good boy. And then he goes, okay, he goes, stay there. So he went out for a couple of minutes, come back. And he put this little plastic cup of tea, and it was a little paper plate with 3 custard cream biscuits on there. And he pushed the cup of tea and the biscuits toward me. And he said, right, I'll try again. Tell me what you know, and you can have these, and you can go and have a rest. The end of exercise for you. So I thought, so I acted, all right? Now, I openly endorse this when I teach my survival students on the courses that I offer, okay? So I thought, right, you need to be a convincing actor. So I pretended to break down. I said, oh God, I said, I'm so thirsty. He said, I know it's an exercise and all that, so I don't care anymore. Right, there's 3 of them. They're over there, and I showed them on the map. And there's another 2, they're up there in the woods. And there's 4 more, and they're down by the back of this building on this part of the map. So he looked at that, looked at me, he said, well done. So he gave me a cup of tea, so I drank the tea, drank the biscuits, and he just went off for a couple of minutes. So I got this hot cup of tea, because I'll tell you it was freezing, down my neck, and the biscuits. And then it's like a guard come straight in, all shouting, hood on, straight up, through one door, down a corridor, and I can't remember left or right. I turned into this other room, and it's really like, it felt like a big room. It is echoey, because you can hear footsteps and stuff echoing everywhere. Almost like a gymnasium or a village hall, something like that. But it sounded like it is empty with no soft furnishings. And it was cold, and it smelled a bit damp. So, of course, hood up still. They pushed me to the wall. They put me in a stress position. They said, don't move. So I had to lean against this wall, and so I just had to sit it through, you know, just went through the motions and stuff. And then it just seemed like an eternity. I really can't remember how long I was stood there like that. And it sort of kept nodding off because I was really tired. And I'm so glad I had that cup of tea, right? And I gave them all this BS about where my mates were, right, on the run. And it didn't seem that long after that. It was really quiet. And I can hear snoring. Oh my God, snoring. Yeah. So I sort of very slowly sat down on the floor, leant forward, and I kept shaking my head. And this hood come off, right? So I was looking around like this. My hands were still on my back with these cable ties. So what I managed to do, I remember a long time ago, years before that, I learned this trick where you literally, you can like step through your where your handcuffs are, where your cable ties are. So now my hands are on my front, and it was a bit of an effort, but a contortionist will get it. So that was the case. So great, no hood. I could walk, my feet weren't tied, but my hands were. and it was really dark in there. But there was a dim light coming from underneath the door, where there's a corridor the other side, I believe. And it was just enough light so I can see there's someone over there by the door. And I can hear snoring, and it was really quiet. And I looked around, and I think there was about 3 or 4 others in there as well, still in the stress position, not saying a word. Right? I think they was a bit frightened, to be honest. So there I was. I very carefully tiptoed towards where I was hearing this snoring, right? And guess what? There was a guard on his bum, sat on the floor, asleep, with his rifle next to him, leant up against the wall. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. So I thought, right, okay. So I carefully got his weapon, carefully tiptoed to the door. This guy was way out, totally snoring his head off, right? So I got to the door, and because I had my hands on the front of me, luckily they were together, I managed to very slowly turn the handle and push it very slowly. And as I was pushing it slowly, I got down really low, and I just put my head down the corridor. It's brightly lit. And just as I'd done that, I heard the noise. It was a toilet flushing. I'd say probably about 15, 20 feet away to the right hand side of that corridor, I guess was a toilet, because the noise of the flushing toilet come from there. So I thought, I need to just do something here, right? So that was it. I opened the door with this guy's rifle, and I turned right, I walked down the corridor, there was a door, and luckily I opened that and I was outside. Couldn't believe it. It's bloody freezing. It was pitch black by then. So what I decided to do is, as I went around the corner of this building, it was all floodlit. So, oh no. So here I am on my own, freezing cold with this jumper and a hat on, and this rifle. Well, it's back then it was an SLR, a self-loading rifle, and I checked the magazine and it was 20 rounds of blanks in there. Yes, happy days. As I looked around the corner, it was brightly lit. I just stood there for about 10-20 seconds just looking around, and there was no one around. So what I decided to do is kept really close to the building, walked all the way along to the end, got to the corner and got really down low and looked around the corner, and there was nothing there, but there was this almost like a farm track going to this gate. So I went to the gate, and instead of opening it, I decided to climb over the top, but slowly and quietly, okay, with the rifle. Went over there, and that was it. I was off. I legged it, and I thought, well, I'm cold, even though I've had that nice cup of tea, the best way to keep warm is to move. So I legged it, got this rifle, and I legged it down this lane. And by then it was white, it has been snowing, it was frosty, and yeah, they said between -6 and -7 degrees C, something like that. I thought, blimey, it's bloody freezing. So I was jogging along, and I must have been running for about a good 5 or 10 minutes, and it was all up and down this little country lane in the middle of the Isle of Wight in November 1990. I'll never forget it. And as I was going around the corner, the brow of this little hill of this lane, so I want to be skyline, so I went over to the hedgerow, got down low, and just made myself move quietly and slowly. And as I got to the top, I stopped and I just observed, just looked around. So I thought, hey, it seems fine. So as I got up to move along, I heard shit. I stopped, got to ground and listened. It just froze. It was cold enough as well, and I just moved around. I'm sure I heard something. So I was looking around and I heard, it only sounded about 10-15 feet away, and I was looking, you know, when you just come from a brightly lit environment and you was trying to get your night vision back, and it was difficult, but I could see the white of the snow everywhere, and it was like, oh, I can't see something, I can't see anything. And then as I looked, you really started to focus, and where this noise was coming from, it looked like an outline of a head. What? So I walked over there with the rifle, and I thought, okay, if it is, I'm going to pretend to be the hunter force. So I shouldered the weapon, walked with purpose, and as I got closer, I was giggling. Oh, what the hell? And it was some of my mates. They'd been laid down in this ditch, and they were covered in snow, well, albeit a dusting, right? And it was all huddled together to keep warm. And I thought, well, do you know what? Sod this. So anyway, I got down with them, put the rifle down with them, and we all huddled together and we stayed warm. and we didn't really get any sleep. It was bloody freezing, and it must have been about, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours, something like that. The sun started to come up. So anyway, we looked at the watch and said, look, you know, we've got like until 8 o'clock. So we just stayed there. Okay, so as the sun come up, you know, we even had 2 Land Rovers go past us, but because we was down in this ditch and we was covered in this snow and that sort of thing, and we're just sort of trying to keep warm, Land Rovers had no idea we was there. Anyway, come 8 o'clock, which was Index, we all got up and we turned around and we walked, I don't know, however far it was, back to where I escaped from. And it turned out that it was the place where we started the exercise from. So we walked up there, there was a few other bods there, they was all turning up, and it was all like, all meeting up, reunited again with other mates. They all split off in pairs and stuff. And I was thinking, he said, what are you doing with that weapon? And I said, oh, long story. So anyway, we got back, and there was, I think it was a sergeant from the Paris. And he comes up to me, he goes, can I have a word? I said, yeah, certainly, Sergeant. And he goes, where did you find that rifle? And I told him. And do you know what he done? He smirked. And he said, well done. Give him the rifle. I opened it, checked it all, clicked it through, put the mag back on. There you go, Sergeant. He just smirked and he just walked off shaking his head. Anyway, we formed a parade. We all got together and all front and centre, all lined up, ready for a debrief to get back home. And the sergeant, and I think he was second lieutenant in our lot, come up and he said, like, well done everyone, blah blah blah. And he goes, one of you done exceptionally well, and for that you're going to receive a reward. He called my name. I stood 3 paces forward, stopped, went to attention, and he brought up 24 cans of Skull Lager, a whole case of lager. Absolutely awesome. They said brilliant, you know, for using your initiative and to escaping and evading and coming back to the right location at the right time with the weapon safe. And I'll tell you what, the guy, well, I never saw him again. Apparently he got a major bollocking for falling asleep on duty and losing his weapon. So yeah, that made me laugh when I remembered that earlier. That was my little story of one of many of the escape and evasion exercise and course that we done that time. And yeah, it just reminded me, because back then in that ditch my hands were frozen just like they were earlier. Well, I'm glad you liked the story. I love telling it. It was great to sort of go back in time and remember all of that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for staying right to the very end. If you liked it, can you hit the thumbs up? And if you really like it, can you hit subscribe? And check that notification bell. Really important, and it really helps. Okay, so I'm glad that you, yes you, enjoyed yourself coming out with me in the woods. So yeah, I try to make it as best as I can, because I do realise that a lot of you guys just literally can't get out for numerous reasons. Okay, so I hope I've helped ease your mind a little bit and to escape all of that madness that's going on. And let's face it, it is madness. Okay, so yeah, please feel free to share this video if you can. It really helps. The more people that come on board, the better. I'm currently still doing the live streams every Friday 8 PM here in the UK, and that's going great, by the way. Lots of people are coming on board now, and yes, I really do believe the masses are waking up. And like I said in previous videos, once the 13% of the global population realise what's going on, there will be an exponential curve of people waking up. And that's probably why you're seeing an acceleration in all these weird and strange things happening seemingly so frequently now. Okay, so it's good news. I believe we're winning, and it's going to get bad before it gets better. So stay prepared and stay funky all the way through to the very end. Okay, we will do this, and yes, it's all good in the hood. So I'm going to go for a nice little walk and chillax a bit. So thanks for watching, and stay funky.